What's good, gamers? I turned the gain down on the microphone again because I'm still experimenting with it. I literally cannot make up my fucking mind on how um, sensitive I want the audio to be, but I think this is better. Um, Hopefully, I keep it here, uh, but we'll see. It keeps the audio from peaking, so I'm thinking I'm gonna keep the gain where it is presently. Um, but I have 3 episodes queued up just because this next fight is that long. Goku versus Jackie Chun, that's how long the fight is. Um, so we get our first. I know I said Goku versus Nam was our first, like, true fight in Dragon Ball, in that it's the first one that Goku really takes seriously. But this one is the first one that is like actual stakes, I suppose. Um, and the visuals froze, which we hate that. Not a fan. Not a fan. Not a fan. Maybe I can skip past it. Oh, okay. Well, that worked. Let me see if I can keep rewinding. Yeah. Huh. I wonder why it got stuck like that. Oh, it did it again. Okay. Maybe this disc is just not the cleanest. But what you're missing is a nice like recap of the fights as you see on my fridge now. Um like translucent recap of the fights over the backdrop of the crowd. Um just showing how we got to Goku versus Jackie Chun. Um I didn't take any notes of what the sub said. We get the title card. It is the grand finals, whereas in the sub, it is the final round, Kamehame-ha, or Kamehameha. Um, Oolong has to fight his way back to the front. It seems as though he was looking for Roshi, but he just couldn't find him. Um, I don't know why they're so worried about Roshi seeing the match. I guess maybe it's out of concern for Goku and Krillin, just hoping that their master will be there to see them. Um, Difference from the sub and the dub. Um, in the sub, the announcer asks what Goku's prospects are for the fight. He doesn't know what prospects are. In the dub, he asks what Goku's strategy is, and Goku doesn't know what strategy is. So it's just a single, like, word difference. But he comments on how um, selfless Goku is because after Goku kind of figures out what he's asking him, Goku says, I don't know what that means, but I just go as hard as I can. I just fight hard. So the announcer's like, "Woo! Let's give it up for Goku. No ego in this boy," which is just incorrect. I wouldn't say there's no ego in him. We see that relationship with his reputation kind of blossom with Vegeta later on, but uh, the announcer goes on to try to interview uh, Roshi, Jackie Chun, and it seems as though in both versions, Jackie Chun slash Roshi is asleep. He walks over to him. He's standing upright, and he's just sleeping. So he comments on how he must be super relaxed, very confident going into the fight to be able to just fall asleep standing up right in front of his opponent. which to an extent is true. We don't know if it's because of his old age that he's just fallen asleep there, or if maybe Roshi's preparing for the match. Um, trying to store up his energy. He's kind of seen what Goku can do. We get added dialogue in the sub versus the dub here. They both strike their poses, and Roshi says, "I won't hold back against you." Um, and Goku says, "Yeah, I won't either." Whereas in the dub, they just kind of grunt at each other. The match starts, and Roshi kicks it off by lunging towards Goku, trying to land a hit on him. He ends up passing Goku after Goku jumps into the air, sees that Goku is jumped high, and backflips towards him in order to land a kick on him. That's the first blow of the match, and Goku is blown out of the ring. It looks like he may be subject to a ring out at the very beginning of the match, which is just, uh, I mean, it's great for Roshi, but it's super unfortunate because we wanted to see something cool from Goku. Um, it's kind of embarrassing. We see him sitting crisscross, just kind of gliding through the air, thinking about what he should do. Uh, and the announcer is ready to call Jackie Chun the winner for the fight. Bulma, Oolong, and Poir kind of lament that it wasn't a spectacular fight. Um, I know I say this a lot, but it seems like a girl resembling Arale is in the crowd watching. She doesn't have the hat on, but she looks familiar. Um, and the people around her look up towards the sky and see something coming down towards the ring. Uh, Everybody starts to look up and point, uh, and we see a glint in Bulma's eye as she looks up and sees Goku descending from the sky. Roshi's absolutely awestruck, but here comes Goku. He's flying in with his tail as like a helicopter blade. Propeller, I guess, would be the right word for that. Um, Goku descends in towards the ring. Uh, I guess there's really no limit to what his tail can do. Honestly, it's probably the most powerful part of his body. We understand that grabbing onto it saps his power, but I guess he can just fly. It's that simple. Um, Roshi's like, "Oh, you've got the devil's luck." Goku says he was thinking about using the Kamehameha like Roshi did to get back into the ring, but he wanted to save it for later. Uh, and Roshi says, "There's no way yours is as good as mine." Um, and then is frustrated by Goku kind of making light of him. So he goes to bust it out. He's like, "I've spent years developing this technique." And Goku's like, "Wait, didn't Roshi didn't Roshi develop that technique?" And Jackie Chun as Roshi, or Roshi as Jackie Chun, is like, "Oh yeah, that's right, doy. I developed something similar. I improved upon it." Um, and he adds a bunch of choreography beforehand just to kind of demonstrate that his isn't the same. Uh, but he reaches the end of the choreo, and it's essentially the same. It's the same basic movements to produce the wave. Uh, Goku falls for it naturally. He's just a very naive young man. But he takes his pose. It seems like he is going to demonstrate that Goku's Kamehameha could never match up with his own. And Goku is willing to test that theory. It seems they're both going to fire off at the same time, and they do. Uh, it looks like we get our first beam struggle of the series. This is the first time you really see them collide. And it only lasts for like a split second. But the beams collide, explode outward, kind of blind everyone in the crowd, and throw Roshi and Goku back. They're both kind of thrown backwards from the center of the explosion. Which kind of goes to show that Goku is evenly matched with Roshi. They have a very similar amount of power in this fight, and he's pleased about it. Of course, he's like, "See, I can do it too." Roshi's awestruck. So is the crowd. They're very happy though. They get to see a nice, fun fight. Oolong says, "Good job keeping up with that old guy." Um, the announcer is kind of going in about how he thought that only Roshi was able to do the Kamehameha wave. Well, okay. Difference from the sub and the dub. In the sub, the announcer is more aware of the martial arts scene, it seems like. He knows that Master Roshi was supposed to be the only one that could do it, but comments on how there's now Jackie Chun and Goku that can also perform the Kamehameha wave. Whereas in the dub, he just kind of comments on how they both performed it, not saying that it's astounding that both of them could perform it because there's only one other person. The main difference is that in the sub he knows the origins, so I guess he's a little more well versed uh, in martial arts history, I suppose. But we get the mid card and it's back to the fight. Uh, just before the mid card, in the sub specifically, Roshi comments about how he'll have to think of a strategy during the commercial break. So we get more of that gag anime kind of feel from the Japanese version, naturally. Um, we get back to the fight. Roshi uses his after image technique. Um, yeah, it's just called after image in the dub. Should just put this right here. It's just called after image in the dub. In the sub, it's called the Zanzo Ken. But he uses two after images to fool Goku. Winds up behind him, wrecks his shit, throws him into a wall. Uh, Goku just brushes it off after the 8 count. And Roshi's like, "How? What is it going to take?" Uh, so Goku naturally is like, "I can do that too, no problem." Um, I'm just making sure that the dialogue is roughly the same. Yeah, slight difference. In the dub, Roshi calls him a copycat. In the sub, he says, lousy monkey see, monkey do, um, and says that he won't fall for it. Uh, which he does. Goku produces three after images after Roshi produced two, which could either be indicative of Goku being more powerful or being able to pick up techniques faster than Roshi can, or it could be indicative of how Roshi only needs two after images, yeah, to fool Goku and land a blow on it. That's up to interpretation. Uh, but I gotta rewind actually. Uh, Goku lands a blow after uh, after producing the three after image techniques. Uh, Jackie Chun says, "What are you thinking, hitting your master over the head like that?" To which Goku responds, "But you aren't my master." He's like, "Oh yeah, what was I thinking? Silly me." Uh, and Goku says, "Oh, you must be Master Roshi's cousin, right?" Um, I'm making sure it's the same. Oh, nope. So in the sub, it's cousin, in the dub, it's brother. Uh, to which Goku's like, "Yeah, it was weird that you look so similar and you keep mixing yourself up." Uh, but Roshi pulls out a chart that says basically he's he's his own brother. Which actually the chart reads that he's Roshi's cousin, but I guess they weren't expecting English audiences to really care or pay too much attention to it. But here we are. Roshi, it seems like maybe getting a little desperate, begins staggering around. Now, you see flush in his face, so we can only assume that he's going with the drunken fist technique. Uh, the announcer commentates on it. He just says, maybe yesterday's sake finally caught up with Roshi. Um, and he lands a blow on Goku's head. Goku's like, "What are you doing, man? Why are you acting like that?" He's like, "Take it. Are you okay? Are you good?" And then lands a kick to Goku's chin. Um, Yamcha tries to warn him that it's the drunken fist, um, otherwise known as the freakin technique. And I have to turn it up for this just to make sure. Okay, got it. So in the dub, Goku knows that the drunken fist, or in the dub, drunken boxing, was one of Grandpa Gohan's specialties. In the sub, Roshi is the one to tell him uh, that Gohan was good at it. He, fuck, I'm stumbling over my words. Uh, Roshi has to be the one to tell him, your grandfather was a master of this. Um, anyway, it works. The drunken fist is surprisingly effective against Goku. Uh, Roshi comments on how Goku's minor, so he hasn't been drunk, so of course it's super effective. he's not gonna know how a drunk would move. Um, so after getting pummeled, he runs away to the edge of the arena, stands there, and kind of shakes. We get a sense that there might be something wrong with him. Uh, it looks very similar to when he transformed. And in a way, he has. He's scratching his head and scratching his butt. Roshi's shocked. Uh, Goku hops on all fours and begins moving towards Roshi. We get the theme song kicking in, so we know it's going to be a fun fight. Um, After Goku approaches Roshi, he goes for a kick. Goku dodges, no problem. And he dodges Roshi's punches, no problem. It's kind of like he's doing acrobatics, but he turns around and scratches his butt in front of Goku, in front of Roshi. Um, does a one-handed handstand on top of Roshi's head, flips around him quite a bit, uses his tail to knock him flat on his back, and then jumps on top of him and kind of paws at his face. Uh, Roshi's like, would you stop jumping around like a monkey? And Goku says, well, it is the monkey-kin technique after all. Uh, so Goku finally developed his own style, I suppose. He lands a couple more hits, flips behind Roshi, kicks him in the back of the head, and Roshi goes flying into some of the ring architecture. Um, Oolong's thoroughly impressed, kind of causes a bit of a ruckus, and somebody throws a shoe at his head, I think. Uh, but yeah, that's about it. The announcer uh, comments on how this is a battle worthy of the final match of the Budokai Tenkaichi. Uh, Roshi starts moving in a very odd way, and he says he's whipping out one of his surprise techniques, you know. Uh, Nobody really knows what this could be, but he kind of moves his hands in a beckoning way. Um, and his eyes start to glow as well. So, no clue what could be coming from Roshi here. He does whip out just like a bunch of strange techniques during this fight. Um, Everybody's kind of entranced by Roshi's preparation for his next attack. And that's it. Uh, Not too much happened, just kind of trading blows and showing that Goku's really a fighting prodigy. Um, he picks things up just like that, and he can do it better, uh, better than the person he saw do it. Uh, but yeah, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed. Uh, do the YouTube things. So like, comment, subscribe, bell icon. Bye.